and sisters, we mentioned last lesson, this book is unique on the topic of Tawheed, in particular Tawheed al-Ibadah. There hasn't been any book written by a man, any book, there's been nothing like it before it nor after it on the topic of Tawheed. And we mentioned several reasons why we are studying Kitāb at-Tawḥīd in our last lesson. So I would like to hear from the students here, the brothers or the sisters in the chat, of who can enlighten us why we are studying Kitāb at-Tawḥīd. Please feel free to type in the chat. First and foremost, as we have mentioned, we are studying Kitāb at-Tawḥīd because it's the best of what has been written on this topic. Secondly, one of the brothers mentions to keep us away from shirk. Naam. Yes, Allah creates for Tawheed. And at this moment, dear brothers and sisters, I'm not speaking about why we are studying Tawheed. I'm speaking more about why this book. Why this book? Yes, the book actually has a Tawheed, Uluhiyya, opposes the type of the mention of the era, so you can know more about Islam straight from shirk. It has been studied by prominent scholars. Yes, all are excellent answers. These are some of the reasons why we are studying this book. And likewise, this book, it is built upon Quran and Sunnah. In every chapter, you will find ayat, hadith, statements of the Salaf. This is all you will find in this book. And as you have mentioned here, this book focuses on Tawheed al-Ibadah. And it is Tawheed al-Ibadah in which many people have gone astray. And it also mentions Tawheed al-Asma wa-Sifat and Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. And likewise, people at the time of the Naam. Yes, also in the time of the people, in the time of the Shaykh, many people were upon shirk and bid'ah and khurafat. And also, the way that this book has been composed, the way it has been organized into chapters, and the way that he, rahimahullah, has organized these chapters one after the other in this, with this tartib al-badi', with this amazing order of abwab. And likewise, the scholars of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, they continuously teach this book. And they promote this book. And they encourage the Muslims to learn this book, to memorize this book, to teach this book, to spread this book, to translate this book. And likewise, dear brothers and sisters, Suhulatul Ibarat, the book is very simple. Just like all the books of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah. If you look at Usul al-Thalatha, Al-Qawaid al-Arba, Kashf al-Shubahat, Nawaqid al-Islam, Al-Usul al-Sitta, ila akhirihi, you will find all his books are like that. Very simple Arabic, easy to understand. Everybody can understand these books. Bi-idhnillahi jalla wa ala. And it's very comprehensive. When you compare this book to other books written in Aqeedah, you will see that it is mukhtasar. It is summarized. This book is like a summary, but it carries great meaning. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed qabool, has placed acceptance for this book upon earth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed acceptance for this book upon earth. That's why it has spread from the east to the west. So these are some of the reasons, perhaps we have mentioned before, and some of them maybe we haven't mentioned before, why we are studying this tremendous book. And if we stop studying Tawheed and we stop studying this book, you will see weakness in Tawheed appear amongst the Muslims. And you will see shirk creeping in. And slowly, slowly Muslims will practice more and more shirk. And they will get further and further away from at-Tawheed. So this is why it is very, very important to study this book in detail, in depth, and to understand it properly. Okay, this book in terms of the number of chapters. How many chapters does this book have, Kitāb at-Tawḥīd? Okay, we have one answer 66, one answer 67. Okay. And they are both correct. The scholars actually differ amongst themselves. Some say it has 66 chapters, others say 67. Why? Because it's the first chapter. The first chapter of this book, some of the scholars have considered this whole chapter to be like an introduction to Kitāb at-Tawḥīd. So they say this first chapter is not even, in fact, a chapter. It's an introduction. And the remaining chapters are the chapters of Kitāb at-Tawḥīd, which are 66. Other scholars say no. The introduction is just the basmala, and when the Shaykh says Kitāb at-Tawḥīd, that is the introduction. And the remainder of the first chapter is a proper chapter. So they say that this is the first chapter, and therefore they say there are 67 chapters in this book. Okay, good. In terms of the number of ahadith, then the scholars have mentioned there are 125 hadith in Kitāb at-Tawḥīd. Just over half of them, okay, are in the Sahihain, are in both Bukhari and Muslim. And most of them are in Kutub as-Sitta, Al-Bukhari, Al-Muslim, Abu Dawood, At-Tirmidhi, Ibn Majah, An-Nasa'i. Most of the hadith in Kitāb at-Tawḥīd are from Kutub as-Sitta. And over half of them are in Sahihain, Al-Bukhari wa Muslim. So the hadith in Kitāb at-Tawḥīd are either muttafaq alayh, or they are either sahih or hasan. Are there any da'if hadith in Kitāb at-Tawḥīd? Yes, there are. But they are very few. However, the weak hadith which in Kitāb at-Tawḥīd are not weak hadith which the scholars are agreed upon their weakness. No. The weak hadith that are mentioned in Kitāb at-Tawḥīd are those that scholars who came before or after Shaykh al-Islam authenticated. So there's difference amongst the scholars of hadith regarding the authenticity of these weak hadith. They are not hadith which are agreed upon their weakness. No. That's the first point. Second point is that the weak hadith that are mentioned in Kitāb at-Tawḥīd, they have shawahid. They have supporting evidence from the Quran and the Sunnah and the principles of the Sharia. And the third thing is that these weak hadith that Shaykh al-Islam rahimahullah, he did not establish any bab, any chapter in Kitāb at-Tawḥīd based primarily on a weak hadith. He did not do that. And the fourth thing is, there are no mawdu, no fabricated hadith at all in Kitāb at-Tawḥīd. There are no hadith which are mawdu, fabricated. So this is just a bit of information, extra information about the book.